Over the last 14 years of its existence, Minecraft has solidified its place as the ultimate escape from reality. With the help of mods, you can become anyone, do anything that you want, and live out and create those fantasies that you've always dreamed of. I myself have always dreamed of magic. So today, dear viewer, I share with you the story of a young fairy. Her story begins on the day of her trial, a day where all fledgling pixies must present themselves to the Fae Elders to be judged by the Spirit Tree. If successful, they may finally earn their wings and become a real fairy. She spent weeks preparing, learning all sorts of spells and incantations to make sure she'd be well prepared for her big day. After a long, sleepless night, morning came and our little pixie finally awoke to a gorgeous day in the village. Seeing all the townsfolk so cheery made her feel much more confident as she made her way to the Great Oak, the home of the elders. At the door, she took a moment to take a deep breath before finally heading inside to show them that she was worthy. But something went horribly wrong. She awoke in an unfamiliar place, a mysterious and dangerous world filled with unknown creatures and terrifying monsters. And the worst part? She was alone, completely alone. She wandered for what seemed like days, until finally finding a forest that, strangely, felt like home. So she built a beacon and imbued it with magic to bring other lost souls to this forest, a safe haven for other magical creatures lost in this strange world. Perhaps this could be a home away from home. Of course, she was sad. She missed the place she once knew and the fae that resided within. They were her family, her friends. But this place presented an opportunity. Everywhere she looked, she found magic. A plethora of magical systems to uncover, harness, explore, and master. Maybe she'd be able to use these mysterious new powers to find her way back home. See, this isn't just any story. This is my story. Hi there, dear viewer. My name is Pixie, and this is the story of how I finally earned my wings. This is FAIRYCORE Minecraft. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of FAIRYCORE SMP, a series where I'm going to be exploring this magical mod pack with you. I am so excited to finally be starting a Minecraft series, and I hope you guys are just as excited as I am, because this is going to be quite the adventure. As you can see, I am in this gorgeous magical forest biome. Don't mind the half-mined tree, I didn't finish it. But this biome is so gorgeous, and it's also filled with a couple of my friends. All the other girlies in this SMP with me will be listed in the description down below, so make sure you go check them out as well. Anyway, if we just head over here across the pond, you will see this gorgeous spawn that I've built for us. And if we head inside, this is what everything looks like. I am literally so obsessed. Look at how cute. Spawn built by me, obviously. I have a bunch of really cute decorations all around, as well as some starter chests. I have already grabbed the stuff from mine, of course, but it just includes some really basic tools, torches, and a little bit of food. I am going to be grabbing some stuff from here, though, because this is what we're going to be using to import builds onto the server. It's definitely so super convenient to just be so close to spawn because I don't really have to put in that much effort to try and get there. Definitely makes my life a lot easier. I also do have a little farm over here, although little is exactly the right term for it because obviously I don't really have that much other than wheat growing. Still though, it's been a pretty good source of food so far, so I think it's pretty good. No! It's a good thing I have my hoe on me so I can just replant like nothing happened. Y'all didn't see that, okay? You didn't see anything. Over here is basically where I have been keeping all of my items. So I have my chests here, which just have a bunch of materials I've been gathering while clearing out this place. And also just some things I've gotten on my adventures because I have been playing for a couple hours now. Actually, while I'm here, I may as well make some bread because we definitely need the food. And let me eat some of it because your girl is hungry. Over here, though, I do have a chest, which is a gift from one of my dear friends on the server. Look how cute this is. Anyway, for today's episode, I thought it would be a pretty good idea to get started on our starter home, which is exactly why I grabbed some of these items from spawn. This is going to tell us exactly how we can magic our starter home into this world. Obviously, a lot of terraforming needs to be done though, because the land around here is definitely not flat. I will have to work on that slowly though, because my biggest priority right now is just collecting the materials. It already feels like the sun is setting, which is definitely not good for us. And you know what the best part is? I don't have a bed, so we're gonna have to figure out a solution for that as well. Maybe I should go hunt some sheep, actually. That might be a good idea. But first, I'm gonna set all of this stuff down. My table and my cannon. So I am just gonna print out my fairy house. And I have to place this down somewhere in the world, but obviously I'm not going to show you guys yet. So here is a list of all of the stuff that I'm going to need to collect in order to build my house. And it's clearly a pretty big list, so we're gonna have to go on quite the adventure today. But first, I need to figure out what to do because it's now nighttime and I do not have a bed. But it's okay, at least I have my cute little plushie to keep me company. Let me also grab my shield actually because I don't know what sort of danger awaits us. So first thing I'm gonna need to start crossing off my list is actually called a nature's compass. It's basically an item that allows us to search for any biome that we want, which is going to be such a big help. First thing I need to craft though is a compass, which is just some iron and redstone, which I do think we have. Oh my gosh, do I not have any redstone? Oh no! Well, back into the mines we go. Oh my god, it's a zombie. Back away from me. Ew! Oh my god, oh my god. Scary times out here. I also do really want to go ahead and craft ourselves a backpack, but again, I don't have the resources for it because we need leather. However, maybe if on our adventure we find some source of leather, then we can craft it anyway. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the items that we need for it and keep them in our inventory. That way, if I come across some unlucky cows, I can slay them, take their leather, and make my backpack. Speaking of which, I do need a chest for it, which is perfect. Oh my god, there's another zombie. You're so ugly. Wait, you can make something called rotten leather. Hold on. Maybe I can make a backpack after all. Okay, I can make 2 pieces of rotten leather with the amount of rotten flesh that I have, which obviously isn't enough. I still need 2 more, but that's definitely a start. And I'm gonna need some string as well, which means I have to go out and slay some spiders. This just means we have to go mining even more because I need to find zombies and spiders. Unfortunately, I don't really know the location of a cave, so we're just gonna have to figure it out. What are you? Oh my gosh, wait, what was that? That was so cute. Oh my gosh, and there's some pillagers over there. I think we are just going to cutely avoid them. I'm gonna try and look for some sort of like a big cave opening or something. Hold on, there's a skeleton though. Oh my god, it's a creeper! No! I don't want to deal with you right now. Well, that died. I don't know if this is a big cave or not, but there are some resources here, so I will collect them still. Like this inferium ore. Looks like there's more over here. And nothing over here. Great. I'm trying to find redstone. Okay, but this cave does seem like it's promising. Maybe. It looks like we're in a ravine of some sort, but not a particularly good one. And I'll always take the iron that I find. Ooh, it's a treasure pot. Ooh, raw iron, that's pretty good. Let's keep going lower though, because I don't think we're on redstone level yet, and that is pretty much all I'm looking for. And deeper I went, not realizing that this was going to be one of the most scary experiences I've ever had in Minecraft. At first, it was all fun and games, just finding a bunch of pretty looking ore, collecting them, adding them to my backpack. But soon enough, I came across this strange looking structure that was surrounded by a lot of scary mobs. I fought them off because there also happened to be a ton of treasure and ores around them that I really wanted to mine. There were all sorts of unique gemstones and pretty ores that I had never seen before, but I should have known it was too good to be true. My streak of bad luck started after hitting this pot, which turned into this scary crab that started to chase me. There seemed to be a never-ending supply of gemstones and rare ores here, but I should have known it was too good to be true. While mining one of them, I turned around to find this scary skeleton shooting magical spikes at me. It had a strange aura to it, and I was terrified, so I made a break for it. When I turned around, I realized it had summoned a whole undead army to kill me. I tried to look for safety and found myself inside of this strange armory. Of course, one of the zombies had made its way in, so I killed it in an attempt to make my area more safe. And what do you know, there seemed to be all sorts of treasure in here. I went around looting all of the chests, trying to see what I could find. But the real treasure was all of these ores in the corner. There were also these magical Fae ores, which I decided to collect and not really worry about because I didn't really know what they would do. It was time to make my way out, so I attempted to see if there were any of those monsters still hiding. And lo and behold, the second I turned the corner, the army started to rush at me and I ran inside, terrified. I didn't really know what to do, so I figured that I might as well make a way out through the back door. However, when I turned the corner, there they were again. I quickly burrowed back inside, freaking out, only to realize I hadn't even collected the redstone. I attempted to sneak my way around, hoping to not make enough noise to attract any of the monsters. But of course, there happened to be a skeleton blocking my path, so I burrowed inside again because I was terrified. I also discovered the strategy of hitting the zombies through the trapdoors, which made it a little bit safer to kill them without them killing me. Finally, I made my way back outside, trying to just run around and find the way back up, but it seemed I was lost. Finally, I found the way back and tried to make my way outside. Unfortunately, the way back was also guarded by another one of those skeleton monsters. This time, I decided to take it head on and fight through those chilling powers it sent my way. It was a scary fight, but I managed to come out victorious and make my way back home. And in one piece, I'm gonna go over there and kill that spider because I desperately need a backpack. Where's the spider? Oh my god! Oh my god! No, not you! I don't want anything to do with you. Wait, there's Lily of the Valleys here. That's my favorite Minecraft flower. Let me grab a bunch of them. I scooped up pretty much every lily that I could find except for this one, so let's head back. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, there's phantoms too. Oh my god, I didn't do anything to deserve this. Yeah, I'm not going outside, so I'm just gonna wait in here until it's daytime and then we can get back to crafting or whatever I was doing. Oh, it's finally the daytime, which means I can set out and hopefully be a little bit more safe. And I got a phantom membrane, cool. I just have to put the saplings like this and the logs like this, and we have a nature's compass. This is such a cool item because you can literally just pick any biome that you want and it's gonna locate it for you. Which basically means that I'm one step closer to completing this ridiculously long checklist of all of these items. Now enjoy this resource collection montage. Because, you know, if I took you on the entire adventure with me, we'd literally be here for hours. I started off by collecting some wheat because I needed more food for my adventures. Then I headed off and decided to set my nature's compass to the correct biome, which was a lavender field. Only it was several thousand blocks away. Luckily, there was plenty to keep me busy on my travels, like this ruined nether portal. Of course, I had to collect the gold, and I was so happy to discover there were actually 2 pieces. I also got distracted by these really pretty flowers not too far from the portal. At this point, my hopes were pretty high. I was in a good mood because I felt like this journey couldn't be that long. And boy, was I wrong. I immediately ran into a spider, which honestly wasn't great for me. It was already nighttime and monsters were starting to come out, which meant I had to fight for my life. I was just admiring this adorable little fish when a phantom came out of nowhere and decided to attack me. And it also seemed like it brought friends because a drowned got out of the water and started trying to kill me. I managed to kill them both and secured myself another phantom membrane. Then I ran into this wraith-like creature, which also inflicted me with the same chilling cold that that scary skeleton had. After killing the spider, I realized I had enough string to finally craft a backpack, so I immediately got to work on that. I crafted up the resources before finally putting the recipe together to make myself a backpack. Suddenly, I had twice the amount of room and I was in a much better mood to continue exploring. I also came across some cows that I decided to kill because I wanted to collect something called a capture card. This would come in handy for later, but obviously I couldn't leave any witnesses, so I killed their last remaining family member. Then I was off once more on this journey to find those gorgeous lavender fields. And boy, was it a long, long journey. I traveled for what seemed like days until finally coming across my first new biome. It was an interesting dark biome with this gorgeous pine wood, which of course I wanted to collect some of, so I got myself a sapling. Then I went on my merry way off to the next one, and almost fell into a cave on the way. I suddenly found myself on this cliffside with absolutely nowhere to go but down. So I carefully scaled the cliff and decided to try and jump into the water. When I made it to the other side though, I realized I just had to scale all the way back up, which was quite annoying. However, I came across this gorgeous mushroom and decided to collect it for resources because I would love to use it to build my area up later. This next biome was a dark forest with a bunch of these magical growing mushrooms everywhere, and this strange red wood which just smelled like magic. So I decided to collect it and tried to see what it was used for. Apparently you could use it to craft some pretty cool tools. On my way away from it, I came across another one of these logs, but more importantly, this gorgeous tree. This tree just felt like home and smelled of fae magic. I could feel it radiating off of the thing. I didn't know what purpose it would serve in the future, but I knew it would be important on my journey to earn my wings, so I decided to mark it for later. Next, I found myself on these sandy shores and in front of some interesting structures. The first of which I recognized to be an altar to the Elder Fae. I collected the mandrake at the foot of the altar because I had a feeling this would come in handy later, and I decided to take the altar with me as well before exploring this interesting looking tower. Inside was some very cool magical loot that I had no idea what to do with, but I collected all of it because it just seemed so pretty. And of course there was a bed inside that I happened to take as well. On the top floor was this inscription table, which I also collected. On the beach were a ton of coal deposits that I also collected because I hadn't seen much of it up till now, and coal is a precious fuel resource, so I knew I would need a ton of it going forward. I also attempted to trade with this holy priest, but he was just way too expensive. So instead I carried on looting the village, collecting everything I could possibly fit into my pockets. There was plenty here, including this bottle of enchanting, which I promptly used for some levels. I also decided to steal some of their hay because I had a feeling they probably wouldn't mind. And another bottle of enchanting, lucky me. In the center of the village, I found a larger fae altar, but I didn't want to defile this one as well because I had already taken one of them. So I carried on my adventure because I really needed to find this wood. Out of nowhere, I was assaulted by this weird looking goblin, which only happened to drop a piece of wheat. The next biome I came across was this gorgeous birch biome. However, I had another cliffside to scale, and clearly I didn't learn my lesson because I jumped right into the water. I also came across this mama bear guarding her cubs and decided to leave her alone because she seemed very protective. I was promptly distracted by this gorgeous pink leaf and decided to head in the opposite direction. I didn't know why until I turned around to see this huge, gorgeous tree. The leaves were green and the wood was this vibrant red color, and as I got closer, I realized this was another fae tree. I marked it as well, knowing it would be super important for later. Then I carried on because I still was nowhere close to the lavender biome. However, another distraction posed itself in the form of this gorgeous looking tree. It gave off these magical particles and I knew I had to secure a sapling before moving on. I came across this gorgeous looking apiary thing. And it had this magical flower inside of it with a little sparkle that I obviously collected to take with me. It was at this moment that I also realized I was starting to get hungry, so I decided to take a moment and craft some bread. And of course, almost dying by falling into yet another hole. After that near-death experience, I was graced by the gorgeous sight of lavender flowers. Suddenly, I was in the lavender fields and all was well. I found this butterfly nest and I wasn't sure what it would do, but I grabbed it anyway. Then I went on and started to collect a bunch of these jacaranda logs that I had traveled so far to collect. I also managed to find a bunch of really cute butterflies and tried to figure out what they were up to. They didn't seem to want to go into my nest even though I tried. But just my luck, it started raining and the butterfly went back to its own nest, so I just yoinked it. And of course, I went off starting to collect a bunch of the jacaranda wood because I would need it for my build. And the leaves, of course, I needed a bunch of those as well. Not too far from the lavender fields, I also found this strange building, which I further realized was an illager camp. I decided to run the other direction because I was not prepared to take on that sort of threat. Although there seemed to be a fay tree pretty close to the tent, so I would want to come back for it at some point. Ironically enough, on the opposite side of the illager village was a regular village with a different fay altar. This one was to Queen Titania, and I decided to take the altar along with all of the frog lights around it. Then I went on starting to loot the village, and there really wasn't that much going on, to be honest. The loot was pretty lackluster, but there were so many shrines, which meant tons of frog lights and even a waystone. After being jump scared by these scary skunks with glowing eyes, I decided to return home and dump all of my stuff in the chests. I also decided to smelt some of the ore I had now that I had a healthy amount of coal. After a bit of chest organization, I headed back to the village and started on my journey once more. I continued on and found this really pretty mauve tree and obviously wanted to get a sapling for myself. But I accidentally set off this beehive and all of these bees got really angry at me. After running away from them, I found another waystone which I decided to take with me in case I needed it later. I also found this really pretty magnolia tree and obviously I needed a sapling for myself. I went ahead and collected some of these lilacs around the altars as well because they're one of my favorite Minecraft flowers. And of course, all of the frog lights I could literally carry. I also took this waystone with me. Next, I came across this strange underwater village with these weird looking mermen. I couldn't really trade with them, but they did have some lackluster loot in their houses. I didn't take too much of it though because I started to drown and got scared I was gonna die. I came ashore on this beach and was immediately assaulted by seagulls trying to steal my bread from me. By the time I realized that it was too late, but I did manage to get at least one of them back before moving on to search for the next biome, which was a swamp. There were a few different trees that I really wanted to collect from the swamp and a structure I was particularly looking for. I was also lucky enough to come across another waystone, so I took it for my adventures. I cannot lie, you guys, this was a very long journey. It had been days at this point and I was genuinely so exhausted. But I came across some strawberries which immediately made me so happy because they are my favorite fruit. Not too far from the strawberries, I was lucky enough to actually come across the structure I was looking for. And funny enough, it wasn't even in the swamp. This was a witch village, and the main thing I was looking for was these witch hazel trapdoors. But I did putter around a little bit because I wanted to see what was in these houses. I didn't find too much, just some strange witchy furniture, but I did manage to come across this green bed, which was much cuter than my yellow one. So I took it and replaced it with the yellow one I already had. I came across some interesting herbs and hanging drying racks, along with a bunch of leather, which I took for myself. In this hut, I also managed to find some witch hazel saplings, which are exactly what I was looking for. And this strange crystal ball, which reacted to my presence, but I didn't really know what to do with it. I just kind of posed with it for a little bit before moving on. At this point, I was losing hope, but suddenly I came across this strange looking plant. After doing some research, I realized this was in fact a flower fox seed, which would allow me to grow some companions. I excitedly took it with me and now had a newfound mission to collect a bunch of different flower foxes. I didn't really know how I would grow them, but I knew I wanted an army. So I collected all of the seeds I could see around me before moving on and finding this adorable little turtle. Hey dude. I found myself in another woodland taiga sort of a biome, but it wasn't really that interesting, so I just carried on through. At this point, I was honestly just making a beeline for the swamp. I was so tired and really wanted to find the swamp. I did come across this ruined portal, but the loot was not that great. The next day, I finally made it to the swamp and I was so excited to be there. The first thing I saw was these lychee logs and I grabbed them immediately, but it didn't seem like the tree that I was actually looking for was spawning. However, not too far from that, I also found some more flower fox seeds, and this time they were the swamp version. So I took all of them, of course. Not too far from them, I came across these adorable little creatures. They were these tiny little mushroom guys, and I was immediately in love and knew I had to take them home. I did find some more flower fox seeds though, so I did take those with me before finding this interesting looking structure. Inside was an apothecarist who didn't really seem that interesting. His trades weren't all that great, and honestly the loot in his house was also not the best, but I did find this cute firefly jar that I took. I was just minding my business collecting some emeralds when suddenly I heard him throw a potion and aggress on me. Before I knew it, he was casting a spell trying to get me to leave his house, so I took the hint and left immediately. Running from him though led me to these mountain flower fox seeds, which meant my collection was growing faster than I could even imagine. And it was at this point that I realized I had the materials to craft a lasso, so I crafted it and immediately headed back to grab my sporelings. This time I found some red ones as well, so I managed to take one into my lasso and head home to place him down. I fed him some bone meal, and it wasn't long before he loved me. Just look at the way he sits, it is just so cute. I knew I had to go back and get him a friend though, so I went back to grab a brown homie for him. And this one tamed immediately, so I set him down on my crafting table. The other one could guard my chest for me. If you have any name suggestions for these little guys, please let me know in the comments down below because I would love your suggestions. My next order of business was to find the lush caves because I needed moss and azalea, but immediately I got distracted by a cute little skunk. I think I bothered it too much though because it started to spray on me and I immediately ran away to take a dip in the water and wash that disgusting stink off of me. Then I came across this gorgeous magnolia biome, but I had no time to waste. I was so determined to just find these lush caves. Not far, I found another village, which meant there were plenty more froglights to be collected. I also came across this villager in a pen with his animals, which I thought was a little strange, but I didn't judge. Instead, I just took some of the hay that he had piled up for them because it didn't seem like they needed it. Finally, I had arrived to the entrance of the lush caves and I was so excited to just get in there and grab all of that moss. But first, bread. Inside were these adorable crystal clusters, but more importantly, I could see moss down there. So I headed down immediately, very excitedly, and didn't even notice a creeper sneaking up behind me. Luckily, I was able to recover all of my items from my corpse, but almost immediately got assaulted by a skeleton. I panicked a little to find my shield, but once I did, I was able to take care of him, no problem. Then I decided to do some mining, just collect some materials while I was down here before I went on to look for some spore blossoms. Which I did eventually find, but they were pretty difficult to get up to. On my way home, I grabbed a bunch of moss and then headed back to organize. I've pretty much got all of the raw materials I need now, but there is definitely one thing that I kind of forgot about / have been putting off, and that is unfortunately terraforming. This space is gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not flat enough to build. I mean, there are holes everywhere. A lot of this land just is not build ready, especially this area, and that's unfortunate because I kind of wanted to put my house like right here. My original idea was to put my house right up in this region, so we definitely have to clear out all of this land. I like that there's already a lot of open space, so I won't need to actually destroy a lot of the forest to build here. But around here, I have a few things I need to patch up, like these crazy holes down into nowhere. It would be nice to have a little bit more flat area to build, so that is going to be pretty much the task I'm going for next. After all, with most of my basic materials collected, all I really need to do is craft all the things I need for my build. So I can take a little break from putting together my resources and just do some terraforming. I'm pretty much just gonna craft a bunch of shovels, put some music on, and get to work, so enjoy this little terraforming montage. Finally, I've collected all of the resources that I need for my house, and trust me, it took forever. But now that that's all done, we're just gonna use a little bit of fairy magic to build my house. Finally, after days of work, my house in this brand new world is finally done. Are you ready to see it? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 dun. Look at how gorgeous this turned out. I am literally obsessed. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go into free cam so I can show you guys my build. This is what it looks like. I'm basically living in this giant stump situation. It's a stump with a bunch of gorgeous flowers and mushrooms and things on top of it. I planted a bunch of the pretty tree saplings that I found, as well as made some of my own custom flowers, which look so beautiful. Along the pathway, I placed down some of these flowers. I collected like the wild flowers, and I crafted these glow flowers, as well as all of the lilacs that I stole and the lily of the valleys, as well as a bunch of azalea flowers. This right here is the inside of my house, and I don't really have anything going on yet. I just decorated the ceiling with some flowers and hanging pots and leaves and lanterns, but the inside is pretty bare right now because I haven't really decorated at all. I also have this gorgeous window, which is one of my favorite parts of the entire house. My items are unfortunately all still over here, but I do think I'm gonna move my little mushroom dudes into my house. I'm gonna put one right here and also one right here so they can sit out the window. I should probably also move my bed in there, and I'm gonna have to move these chests later, but I'm just gonna do that off camera. And I think that is just about gonna wrap it up for episode 1 of FAIRYCORE Minecraft. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. I have had so much fun recording this for you. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more FAIRYCORE Minecraft. I'm going to be trying to post an episode once a week, so I hope you're just as excited as I am. Leave me a comment down below letting me know if you have any ideas for other builds you want to see me do, and also some names for our gorgeous little mushroom boys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like as well. It really helps out my channel. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!